Hey. Okay, so to pick up on the story that we left off on of me, of how I became a content creator and my coming out story. So we got all the way up until about 2016. Okay, don't worry about what I do over here. Worry about you. But anywho, okay, so 2016, I was creating content here and there, and I was working in Florida on the turnpike at a service plaza at the Shell's gas station. So yeah, I was doing that back and forth. Then I ended up meeting somebody. I ended up meeting one of my supporters who was like, hey, I'm in town. I would like to meet with you. Let's go get some drinks. So I'm like, I don't really know because I don't know you like that. So yeah, and I don't really link up with supporters. So yeah, but something was telling me to do it. So I ended up doing it. I was like, what the heck? So I ended up doing it, and we met, and we actually clicked instantly, and we just had a great time, like a good time. We was just laughing and talking and drinking or whatever. So time went on, we kept in contact. They became my good sis. Then I was living in Florida at the time. They were living in Georgia. I think they had not even moved to Atlanta yet, or probably just moved to Atlanta. But anyways, so what had happened was we kept in contact, and then as we were sitting down talking and drinking, I forgot that part. They were telling me, you ever thought about selling like weave, since you always doing putting on the wigs in your videos and everybody always asking you about your hair and all that stuff? And I was like, I never thought about that. So I think we had that conversation, but it took me a whole entire year to actually act upon it. And then me and my cousin started our hairline, which became Lachey Hair at the time. So with that, starting the hairline and selling bundles, selling frontals and stuff like that. So it took a lot of research, a lot of losing money, spending money. You have to spend to win, lose to gain, and all that other stuff. So we went through all those, doing the research and stuff, going through vendor after vendor after vendor until we found the perfect vendor for us. So we did that, and so we started there, and by this time I wasn't doing hair. I didn't know how to make wigs. I didn't really know how to do that type of hair. And this was 2017. So it was probably 2016 going into 2017. All right, so we did started the hairline, did our photo shoot, and I think after the photo shoot, and it was doing so good. It was doing good. We had supporters from like here, there, everywhere. And how did I skip this? All right, so we did. Oh, I ain't skipping. I'm on the right time. I'm on the right time. I'm on the right path. So this what happened. I was working there and doing the hair and selling the hair, and my cousin had her job too. So it was like I was working, then people was hitting me up because I had the social media platform or whatever, because I was using my issue with the bang plus my personal pages, and she was using her page. But I had the bigger platform, so people was inboxing me about hair, trying to how we didn't have a website, we didn't have none of that. I didn't know how to do any of that. So I taught myself how to do all those things. So, and I think when we first started out with our website, we was on Shopify before we ended up going to Wix. But so with that, This dog is barking. But anyways, I was working the job and I was doing that, and it was taking off really good. Like, people around town was supporting us. I had people in different states supporting us. So it was doing good. It was doing good. It was steady. I would say it was steady. I won't say it was booming, but it was steady. It was steady. We was creating a buzz. Well, in town. So by this time, I'm like, it started becoming overwhelming because I was like, I think at this time I wasn't working over. I had switched from overnight to working second shift. I think I was working second shift. So yeah, I was working second shift, but it just became overwhelming because I was trying to go to work and then at the same time respond to people and then like tell my cousin like, hey, somebody trying to get, and she knew, but she was more of the overseer, if that makes sense, and I was more hands-on with it. So I would have to, and I had access to the account. She didn't have access to my social media, but so it was just becoming a bit too much. Let me just leave right there. It was becoming a bit too much. So I'm just like, oh my God. So we sat down and we talked, and I was like, I don't know. I really want this to take off. I really feel like it's gonna take off. So I don't know. I'm like, but it's becoming overwhelming because I can't do what I wanted. I can't really focus on the business all day like I want to make more sales because doing what I can do, and I'm trying to hurry up and rush for work. And then, but she was like, well, since I'm not leaving my job, she was like, you could just leave your job and focus on the business. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up putting in my 2 weeks. And I had just became employee of the month, and I was there for like, I think I was there for like a month. No, I think I was there for like a month and a half. And I became employee of the month. So it was like a little bit after that. Then I was having some beef at work with the people. They was just aggravating this crap. So so I ended up putting in my 2 weeks notice or whatever. And then I end up leaving there. And I kid you not, the day I left there, I was so scared because it was my last day, and I was like, I didn't know what awaited me. And at this time, my social media was okay, but it wasn't doing as well. It wasn't doing as well as it could have been doing. So that next morning, I got an email. I got an email from Gio, which was T.S. Madison manager at that time. And he wrote me, he was like, hey, I have a business proposition for you or whatever. How about since you start your hairline, you provide Maddie with hair and she'll promote you and we could sign a contract if you have a contract or whatever. So I'm like, oh my gosh. I was just so happy because I'm just like, oh my God. I said, give me a sign, and you giving me a sign. And that was just like my sign to just go full force. That was my sign to go full force. So he hit me up that next morning after I left my job. It was my last day of the job. That next morning he hit me up, and I'm like, oh my God. So I had to hit somebody up. I'm like, hey, can you please come up with a contract with me? And the person that I hit up to write up the contract for me was a former assistant of one of my close friends now. Her assistant at that time, they booked me to do a grand opening for her boutique. So I had to hit her old assistant up. It was like, hey, can you please conjure me up a contract? And I told her what it was about and all that stuff. Since she wrote it up, she was like, all right, let's go over it together and stuff. And then we did that. And I was like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And she was like, no problem. No problem. And she did that out of love and respect for me as a person. So I really, really appreciate people like that, even though I would have paid her. But she just was like, no, you don't have to pay me. She was like, you don't have to pay me. So we did that, and she signed it. And at this time, I wasn't doing no wigs. I wasn't doing nothing. So he was like, T.S. Madison he was like, do you have any wigs with bangs? And I was like, no, I don't have no wigs with bangs. I'm like, but I could get one made. And he was like, okay. Well, when you do it, just let us know, and here's the information where you can send it to, da. So I'm just like, okay. So I had to hit this girl up from my hometown that helped us with our photo shoot. Well, she did her cousin hair for the photo shoot, her cousin wig for the photo, and she made my cousin wig. So she really did our wigs for the photo shoot. But so I hit her up. I'm like, hey, can you make this wig for me? Da. And she did it. And she didn't. Did she charge me? I think she did charge me. She didn't. I don't know. I can't remember if she charged me or not. But I don't remember her charging me. But she probably did. I don't know. I can't remember right now. But she ended up making a wig, or whatever. So when I got it, I put the wig on. It was cute, but the bang was not, like, I didn't understand until I started making wigs. And once I sent the wig to her, the bang, well, I did notice, because my cousin noticed and I noticed, that the bang was a little, it wasn't uniformed as well. No shade, but it wasn't uniformed as well. But it was not, she did that. And, cause she's the reason I started making wigs. She's the reason I learned how to make a wig. So she did the wig. We sent it off. T.S. Madison did her unpackaging, shouted me out, whatever, woo, and we and it was just like, I got some followers from her, and then we was just like, ever since then we was locked in. So from that wig on, I started making all her other wigs, because by the next time I sent her a wig, I was able to, I learned how to make wigs by then. So after we sent the wig over or whatever, we did that. And then, what else happened? Okay, we did that. And then I was like, all right, she made my cousin wig, and my cousin needed a new closure because her closure was messed up. So I'm like, let me see if I know how to do this. And I didn't know nothing about wigs, y'all. I didn't know nothing about no wigs. So I was like, I took it apart. I was in YouTube University like crazy. I took it apart and I was watching YouTube videos, and as I was undoing it, I'm like, okay. And cause I didn't really know how to sew like that or nothing. And my sewing technique I got from this girl who used to do my cousin hair. Before I started doing hair, she used to do my cousin hair. And when I would take my cousin hair out, I would look at how she sewed. And then I unraveled it, and I was just like, let me see if I could do this. And I did it, and I got the stitch that she did. But she knotted hers, but I didn't knot mine. I just intertwined it like hers, but I didn't knot it. But yeah. So all this stuff I was learning from these people, y'all. I was learning from these people. I was paying attention. I didn't just stick to one person. I was learning from so many different people because everybody did something different that I liked. So what I did was I took the wig apart, and I end up making the wig over. And then I made another wig. And then I'm like, and now that I look back on it, it wasn't as bad as I thought, but it wasn't as good, but it wasn't as bad either for somebody that's making wig for the first time. So I was like, you know what? Let me see if I could sign into school. I'm like, let me see if I can sign into school. So I was looking up school. I went on Google, started looking up schools to sign into school. I'm like, I don't know what school to go to. I'm like, who got I typed in cosmetology program, and I seen the school FCC. It was based in Orlando. It was called FCC, Florida Career College. So I went there and I filled out the thing for them. And then I seen that they said you got to have a GED or high school diploma. So I was like, yeah, because like I told y'all before in the last video, I didn't graduate high school. So I dropped out. So I didn't have neither the GED or the high school diploma. So what happened was they ended up calling me and they were like, hey, we see that you're interested in the school. Because you know when you write your number on something, they going to call you, they going to email you, they going to do whatever. So I'm like, yeah, I was thinking about it, but I don't know. They was like, well, if you ever decide to come through, if you ever decide to come to the school, you could come set up an appointment with us. I was like, well, I don't have my, I'm like, well, I don't have my GED. They were like, just come in. Just come in and look at the school and we'll see what we could do for you or whatever. So I said, I was like, I said, okay. So they gave me the address and all that stuff, but I wasn't even about to go. And I told my cousin about it. She was like, just go. What you got to lose? Like, just go. See what they're talking about. So I was like, all right, I'll go. So I end up getting her car and I drove over there. And I was doing the little orientation that they had. And then in the orientation, they were saying that we have a program for people who don't have their high school diploma or GED. But the program we have, it's a program where you could get your high school diploma. You just have to finish it. You have to finish all your courses within that year of doing cosmetology school. So you have to do your cosmetology work and you have to do your courses to finish, to get all your credits so you can get your high school diploma. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad I came here. So I ended up signing in. I ended up taking the little placement test, which was okay. It went good. They were like, hey, you got in or whatever, which everybody got in there. But I end up getting in, and they was like, do you want to start in the spring? I think I started in the spring of 2017. I started in the spring. I think it was probably April. It was probably April when I started. And this was, I think this was like this was probably February or March when I did all this. So, yeah. So, anyways, I ended up going to school. When I tell y'all, by this time, I had completely stopped doing videos. I was on my spiritual walk. I had, I think I was doing content, but I wasn't doing as much because I was so focused on my fitness and spiritual. I was doing like a whole lot of personal development. I stopped watching TV in 2017. So that was the year I stopped watching TV. 2017, I was on YouTube 24/7, motivational speeches. I'm talking about, I knew them by heart, sermons, all that stuff. I was running to sermons, running to motivational speeches. I was jogging 4 miles a day. I was just in my element. Like, that's how I became in love with fitness. But I was just doing a lot, but I was still struggling at doing content because I wasn't getting any bookings. I wasn't getting no bookings. I was barely doing promotions. I was barely getting promotions. People asking me to promote for them. It was just a real struggle. And by this time, I wasn't monetized on nothing. So from 2014, I didn't get monetized. And I had stopped, and I was off of Facebook for about 2 years before I got monetized. But that's going to probably be in the next video. So just to wrap this video up, I wasn't monetized or anything. So I wasn't getting no bookings. So I had, at some point, I think when I went to school, when I started school, there was really like no content for real, because all I was doing was I was trying to do my courses 24/7. That whole year was like 4 years of college wrapped in 1 year. So I had to complete all those classes online. I'm talking about school. I was acing everything. I was on my, when I got in school, I was on my ish, like literally on my ish. I revived myself from high school because I hated school. I hated school so bad. But when I went back to school, I was on my shit. I was like, I'm going here. I'm gonna get this high school diploma, and I'm gonna get this cosmetology license. I ain't trying to make no friends. I ain't doing none of that stuff. I'm gonna stay focused. Go in here, have my motivational speeches playing in my ear when I ain't talking to nobody, and I'm just do what I have to do. You know what I'm saying? I was just amping myself up. Got there. Why did I know that people was gonna know who I was from Issue with the Bang? Like some of the teachers and all. Like, so it was funny. But I ended up meeting some lovely people. Like, we became some really, really, really good friends. And it was just like, it was good. But that toward like everybody, I was in the program with a lot of people, and I was helping so many people with their work that I was the last one to get finished with all my coursework. I thought I was not gonna be able to get my high school diploma because the time was ticking. I finished everything, and I had essays. I had a lot of courses to make up. I think I finished 2 days before the end of the school year. I think I finished my work probably a day before the end of the school year. I finished, and I used to be, I'm talking about cry. I was crying. Some nights I did cry because I'm like, I'm doing this for nothing. I'm like, I'm never gonna get finished with this. I'm like, I helped everybody else, and then I'm like, you ain't got nobody to help you because you was helping them, and them people got their own, and they gone by, they going to graduation. So now you here, you stuck. So yeah, I'm gonna just wrap this up right here because after. And then, alright, so I'm going to wrap it up like this. Alright, so we graduated. We went to graduation. And that was my first time ever sticking to something and completing it all the way to the end. I never stuck with something and completed it all the way to the end besides cosmetology school and getting my high school diploma. Like, I was so proud of myself, like, because I'm just like, when things got hard, I always gave up on stuff. But that was the first thing, and how old was I then? I was in my 30s, early 30s. Yeah, I was in my early 30s then. So it was just like, that was the first time I ever stuck to something. So I'm gonna just wrap it up right now. So after graduation, I graduated in May on a Friday. I moved to Georgia with that friend I was telling y'all about that Saturday. And I give y'all in the next video, I'll give y'all the update on that. So this is gonna wrap up this video. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Make sure y'all like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that bell button so you'll be notified when I drop a video. So part 3 coming up next.